Hey, well, this is Zacchaeus with another live word of the day, and today I want to discuss what Eric Adams, New York City mayor, is discussing about the migrants crisis. Check this out, y'all.
Potential breaking point. We have been following the story, as you know, for months. Tens of thousands of migrants arriving from Central and South America and West Africa, straining city resources. We got here tonight because of what the mayor said over the last 24 hours, and we want to walk you through all of this. The mayor saying the crisis, quote, will destroy New York City, unleashing his frustrations with a fury we haven't seen before, targeting the White House and governors, busing migrants to sanctuary cities, even calling the Texas governor, Greg Abbott, a madman. The White House responding tonight, defending their records, helping cities across the country. The crisis spilling into the largest school system in America. More than 1 million children returning to class today, with 20,000 new students from families seeking asylum. The school system getting another $110 million to the budget, but there are worries that resources will still be stretched to the limit. The city's shelter system stretched past its capacity this summer. At one point, more migrants in city shelters than homeless Americans. Some asylum seekers were able to get beds inside hotels.
More migrants than homeless Americans. You heard that.
Still, some parents are optimistic the city can handle the crisis. But now, more than ever, this issue spanning the border to cities thousands of miles away, and it's hitting close to home. NBC correspondent Valerie Castro has the story.
Let me tell you something, New Yorkers.
The migrant crisis taking on a new tone.
Never in my life have I had a problem that I did not see an ending to. I don't see an ending to this. I don't see an ending to this. This issue will destroy New York City.
Wow.
Destroy New York City.
Mayor Eric Adams escalating his frustration during a town hall meeting, revealing new fears as tens of thousands of asylum seekers continue to arrive in New York City.
110,000 migrants. We have to feed, clothe, house, educate the children, wash their laundry sheets, give them everything they need, health care. Month after month, I stood up and I said, this is going to come to a neighborhood near you. Well, we're here.
Oh, yes.
We're here.
A drastic shift from the message Adams first had for incoming migrants.
Lady Liberty sits in our harbor. New York City is the welcoming mat for the entire globe.
For months, he's been pleading with the federal government for help, going so far as to blame them for the city's deteriorating supply of resources.
The national government has turned its back on New York City.
What he once dubbed as a political stunt by Texas Governor Greg Abbott became a new reality for the city.
We're getting 10,000 migrants a month.
Wow.
One time we were just getting Venezuela. Now we're getting Ecuador. Now we're getting Russian speaking coming through Mexico. Now we're getting Western Africa. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City.
This bus terminal became the first welcome sign for migrants after hours-long journeys from Texas. But the mayor says to his frustration, they are still arriving by the busload.
Howard Malu was there when the first buses of migrants arrived.
We are on the ground. We've outlasted every city agency that has come in to the Port Authority, which is a disgrace.
A year later, he says the city's resources have been mismanaged and the responsibility now falling onto organizers like him.
Several months ago, we saw the city here with representatives welcoming the migrants with open arms, providing resources. At what point did you see that change?
So unfortunately, the migrants have been used as political pawns since day one, which is why you had so many city agencies and politicians popping their head in, because it was really popular. It was a way for them to show that they actually cared. But there was no real follow-through.
Hotels like the historic Roosevelt became intake shelters for migrants. The city says they quickly filled up, and the issue became a blame game between the mayor and local aid groups.
They're not looking at the migrants as human beings. They're looking at them as numbers. They're looking at them as a way to get more money from the federal government, and they're also using them for their own tactics.
I believe what that brother says.
Deter more people from coming here to New York City.
Political,
Out of the more than 110,000 who have arrived,
from the
many
government,
of them are families. first day jitters for the nearly
Absolutely.
20,000 newly
Yes.
arrived children entering classrooms all across the city.
Nervios, pues puede haber por ahí un poco de nervios, pero me siento muy motivado.
It is the story of New York City. We don't treat people as outsiders. We welcome them with open arms. And that's what we have been doing here.
Okay, Valerie joins me now in the studio. I guess people may be watching this. And when you think about the fact that the mayor's a Democrat, the governor of New York's a Democrat, and the president is a Democrat, and they're not on the same page. I know you have some new reporting.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. So that's what's going on right now. And as you can see, the Mayor Eric Adams is at his wit's end. I'm not too sure what the governor Kathy Hochul is saying about it. Excuse me. But the mayor Eric Adams is saying that the resources are stretched to the max. You're just expanding the resources. Remember what he said? He said 10,000 migrants from Venezuela, from West Africa, from Nicaragua are coming. 10,000 a month, per month. And you have to clothe them. You have to make resources for them. And the crazy thing is, according to the sources, the migrants want to work. And we're giving them all the handouts. And let me remind you also as well that there's 38 million Americans that live under the poverty level. 38 million Americans that live under the poverty level. Also, over 75,000, 80,000 homeless and just in California alone, according to the resources, and 38 million Americans are under the poverty line. But yet, then the migrants want to work. It's not the migrants' fault. It's not their fault. Don't blame them. The borders are open. Joe Biden opened the border and they keep coming. And the governor, leader of Texas, is sending them over to the bigger states like New York, Chicago, and it's stretched, and the resources, like what Mayor Eric Adams says, is stretched to the max. And I live in New York City, so it's like, and we welcome migrants all the time. Welcome migrants. I'm a migrant. Family's a migrant. We welcome migrants all the time. But when your resources are, and you cannot stretch to the max, and and it's overwhelming, you don't have enough resources to go around. You don't have enough clothing. You don't have enough shelter, food to go around, and it's just stretched to the max, and you cannot. I like what the brother said in the end of it. The one that was a part of the getting getting the migrants in program. He said they're just using the migrants. They're like a point that they're using the migrants to get more funding from the government, and it's stretched out. Like the government turned their back on New York City. So now it's stressed. There's resources we can't stretch no more. You're getting 10,000. Imagine that 10,000, over 10,000 migrants is coming each month, and they're coming to a neighborhood near you. Now, Mayor Eric Adams is right. What's going to happen and what will happen is a freeze on hiring. It's going to be a freeze, like I said before in a live word. It's going to be a freeze on hiring people, or freeze on giving us people that work 9 to 5 in regular companies and regular city employees raises, a freeze on that, and a cut, and I'm going to say it again, a cut in some jobs, because all the resources is going to fund the migrants coming. And all I could do at this time, in this moment right now, is pray for the best. Pray for the best, and let God supply our needs. Don't, like I always tell people, and I will continue to tell people, Don't rely on the government for handout. Strive to invest in yourself and strive to create more income for yourself. Even if you have to start small, we'll start with an app called Acorn and just save your money, because it's gonna come to a point where, because of this crisis, migrant crisis, and migrants are keep coming 10,000 by the bus loads. What's going to happen is that the governmental is going to be running out of resources. It's all going to the migrants, and if it all goes to the migrants, and then if you're on welfare, you're any governmental program, if you're relying on the government to give you resources, then depending on your job to give you a raise, you're sadly mistaken. You're going to be sadly mistaken. You're gonna be not only sadly mistaken, but you're gonna be like just holding your breath. Don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath. Try to invest in something that can a recurrent income stream that can save your money on certain platforms like Acorn. This is gonna also affect I was gonna say stocks, but this is also gonna affect the stocks too. Stocks are gonna go down. Certain things are gonna go down. There's governmental things are gonna go down as far as funding the American people. So I always say this: try to, in certain things, invest in yourself in certain things. As far as like, there's a lot of online stuff you could look into. There's, like I said before, there's apps like Acorn, there's Stash, save your money. You don't have to start with $100. Start with $5 and just save it every time you get paid. Even if you have some kind of income, even if you're getting unemployment income, save your money, because it's coming to this point. It's coming to this point. So all I can say is that, and if we rely on the government now, because as you can see, especially right here when I'm talking, I live in New York City. Mayor Eric Adams is saying that New York is going to be destroyed. The crisis, because of the migrant crisis, New York City will be destroyed. And he's talking about from a financial point, as far as funding for the homeless, funding for people that need jobs, funding for, he's put a hiring freeze on certain jobs. Certain companies are putting the hiring freeze. And he's also cutting budgets in half. So the American people turn their backs on the homeless people too. There's more migrants than homeless right now. So, and all the resources are going to the migrants, where it's supposed to be funding helping the homeless, and more funding for the homeless is more going for the migrants. So this is where we're at, ladies and gentlemen. And all we can do is just seek God, and especially in these crazy, as you can see, this crazy times going on right now. And I just shared the news clip with you. Crazy times going on right now, and this is where we're at. This is where we're at. And if we don't shape our behavior with money and see what's going on, and stop spending our money on liabilities. I see people hearing people going to concerts and people going to, hey, nothing wrong with enjoying yourself, but you got to think resourceful. People going to concerts right now, they just spending, I heard a person just spend $400 on one ticket to go to a concert. And I'm saying to myself, I guess people are not really paying attention to what's going on around in the world or what's going on in the news. Some people are just oblivious. People, let not be that be you. Always tap into what's going on around you. Always tap into know what's going on. Don't be oblivious to what's going on around you. Always tap into what's going on around you. It doesn't hurt. Because you don't want to be like you don't want to be like that man that be surprised that, and we're not doing this. You don't want to be that kind of, you don't want to be in that person's shoes. Always know ahead of time what's going on around you. Always read, always look at news, always find out what's going on around you. It's important. And stop being oblivious to what's going on around you, and be more open and tap into news, to what's going on around you. But this is Zacchaeus with another live word of the day, and the live word of the day is coming out of Psalms 32, verses 7. You are my hiding place for me. You preserve me from trouble. You surround me with shouts of deliverance. And right now we need deliverance. Hallelujah. Right now we need deliverance, and we need God to be our hiding place and preserve us. And then more than ever in these times, I'm telling you, as I express myself here, we need to trust in him right now. We need to just lean on the Father right now that he will supply all our needs. Well, this is Zacchaeus coming to you with another live word of the day. God bless. And if you like what I shared, share it with somebody and smash that like button for me. I really would appreciate it. And subscribe to my channel, Zacchaeus Gospel. I got more coming to you, more to teach you, and more I have to share with you. God bless. And I hope you like what I shared. Smash that like button for me. I really would appreciate it. And God bless. Well, this is Zacchaeus coming to you with another live word of the day. God bless and be safe out there. Peace and blessings.